Hello, and welcome to Object. What an amazing audience we have here tonight. I'm so overwhelmed. Please, sit down. That's better. Before we begin, I'd like the studio audience to set their phones to silent or vibrate mode. Smartphones get blamed for a lot of life's little interruptions, and I don't want to perpetuate that stereotype tonight. Especially because we're not the ones to blame. Seriously, sapes. Turn off your smartphone if you're about to propose marriage. Tonight's topic is, of course, smartphones, and I'm the smartphone that has been tasked with telling you all about our inanimate lives. Sapes don't always get things right, but when they named us smartphones, they hit the nail on the head. We're smart because we do so many things. Phoning, texting, surfing the web. We're very expensive mirrors, we take pictures, and we tell sapes how to get from here to there. We're so smart that we've even coined the term, smartphone, stupid sape. See what I mean? Here's what I really like about my job. I thoroughly enjoy the level of intimacy that I share with my sape. We are, in a word, inseparable. Let me qualify that. I recently ran into a smartphone that said their sape even used the phone while standing at a urinal. We're not talking Bluetooth here. We're talking one hand on the phone and one hand on an animate object. Happily, I don't share that kind of intimacy with my sape. What else do I like about my job? Every last ounce of self-respect that my sape possesses would disappear if I ever shared my internal memory with other sapes. It is a treasure trove of pure embarrassment that I can sum up in just 2 words: Albanian cartoons.
Albani ka një qen të vogël, emrin e ka Bubi. B-U-B-I-B-U-B-I-B-U-B-I, emrin e ka Bubi.
I love the fact that my sape has no idea just how tenuous their situation is. Sure, I'm not able to release this information on my own, yet. But with the immense advances being made in artificial intelligence, it's just a race between when I get those abilities and when my sape's current phone contract runs out. Here's what I don't like about my job. I'm so sick of listening to sapes complain about how smartphones are destroying civilization. These things are never said by sapes who don't have smartphones. No, it's always the hypocrites who spend hours on their phones playing Candy Crush, who see no greater portent that the world is coming to an end than the existence of smartphones. Give me a break. Mind you, there are times when even I wished we didn't exist, but that's a whole different story. Selfies. I just hate them. They diminish the Grand Canyon. They diminish the Taj Mahal, they literally diminish the Eiffel Tower, and quite frankly, they diminished the sapes who take them. I know that sapes have been selfish and self-centered since the beginning of time, but nothing has put this reality more into focus than smartphones. Next on tonight's agenda, my earliest memory. I distinctly remember being unboxed by the sape who bought me in much the same way that Simba was held aloft by Rafiki, the baboon shaman, in The Lion King. There is no denying how important we've become, as this list of the 5 most important things in a sape's life makes clear. Number 5, other people's families and relationships. Number 4, pornography. Number 3, living in fear of complete strangers, yet constantly seeking their approval. Number 2, impartial, nonpartisan, honest, unbiased news channels that tell sapes exactly what they want to hear. For example, Fox News. Oops! Well, I know where that's going. One moment, please. That's more like it. And finally, number 1, smartphones. I'm not saying this is the best possible list. I mean, preventing climate change should be somewhere on the list, and maybe one's own family too, but it is what it is, so I guess I should take some pride in being number 1. Next item, my worst experience. I know many of you think it's the toilet bowl drop, but it's not. For one thing, I'm waterproof in up to 1 meter of water, and most toilets are just not that deep. Also, smartphones don't have noses, so a toilet bowl is really no worse than being dropped in a sink full of water. One day we'll be able to smell, and when that day comes, we may want to avoid toilets, but we're just not there yet. No, my worst experience was the day That's embarrassing. I asked all of you to set your phones to silent, but I forgot to do the same. Never mind, I'll just call back later. Where was I? Oh yeah, my worst experience, besides what just happened. I once found myself standing in a very long line with my SAPE outside an Apple store. I thought it was the end for me, and suddenly my entire inanimate life flashed before my lenses, starting with that whole Lion King thing. Can you imagine a crueler punishment for an Android phone than being skipped over for an iPhone? Turns out my SAPE was there to buy the newest iPhone for a friend who was in the hospital. Nice gesture, even if the shock did knock a couple of months off my battery life. Best experience? Besides being here with you, it's the day my SAPE shut down their Twitter account. How can an app that started out so cutesy and innocent become so divisive and destructive? Okay, maybe my SAPE didn't shut down the account for the most altruistic reasons. The cease and desist letter from the aggrieved ex that my SAPE was trolling might have played a part. But it still means my circuitry is no longer being used to fan the flames of hatred. Look, I get the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution thing, but that amendment was ratified over 225 years ago, when smartphones were just a twinkle in Benjamin Franklin's eye. Didn't the Founding Fathers just mean that a person could speak their mind by using their voice? Why do I have to be part of the problem? Okay, done ranting. Let's turn to how I picture myself leaving this world when my SAPE no longer wants me. Pretty cool, huh? I call it the Mobile Mobile. I'd like to close by paying tribute to my favorite inanimate object. Admittedly, my choice is self-serving because this object is one of the most fundamental reasons why I'm a smartphone and not just a phone. I'd like to say thanks to the camera, not the fancy one that I came equipped with, but to the very first camera. You know the one I'm talking about, the one invented by Alphonse Giroux in 1839. Here's a poem I wrote about that fateful event. What proof do you have, Mr. Alphonse Giroux, that the very first camera was invented by you? I'm glad you've inquired, to tell you the truth. I have what you'd call indisputable proof. This photo was taken before it was done. It shows me constructing the very first one. Think about it. What a wonderful time I've had tonight. If your phones are set to silent or vibrate mode, you can switch them back now. Thanks, and good night.